You have powerful men of color talking about community, talking about goals, aspirations, dreams, how they can make a difference, and it becomes an iron sharpening iron scenario. What men go through because we're not always given the platform to be transparent.
Right.
Everybody wants the strong man so strong that we become rigid and we break.
Let's talk about it.
So, how many drafts did it take for you to get it to where you felt that it was just, okay, now it's ready?
Ooh, great question. Because you're dealing with, say, 33 individual poems, as well as forwards, and Dr. Rosie Milligan and of Black Writers on Tour wrote a forward for me, and Tony Haynes, incredible writer in the music industry. He's worked with people like Earth, Wind and Fire. So they wrote, so I'm waiting on my people to get back to me. Then people who just know me along the way. So those are in there. Then I don't like that poem. I'm going back. Okay, let me fix this. So this probably took us about a good, I'll say maybe a good month and a half working, shooting emails back and forth to get it where we both felt it was good. You know, from like, this is even better. We started working on it January of last year, because, you know, you come into the new year, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this.
Right.
I had a Valentine's Day goal. That didn't happen, right? So we blew past Valentine's Day, but then we released it in May. It was around May, June, July, in that area. So it was close to a Mother's Day release. So targeted how I think it still fit. It's like, okay, now we're still dealing with love and a relationship.
Right.
So it took about 3 months with me editing poems, setting pages up. So it was about a good 3-month process, notwithstanding poems that I had for a long time.
Right.
And the new stuff came. Woo, the new stuff.
The new stuff is where it is, huh?
Yeah. Well, it showed growth for me.
Right.
It showed growth for me. There's a poet by the name of Miss Parker Speaks, right? We were doing this thing called Insomniac Poetry. This was during the pandemic.
Yes.
Everybody's on a Zoom call. And we met a few times. Now, she challenged me, and at the time I didn't appreciate it. I was like, what? Because I still wrote poetry like I was a rapper. You know, the bar is boom. Cat, dad, cat, rat, mouse, house. That's how we write. And then she says, well, why you write that way? Because that's what I was accustomed to.
Right.
So then she had me breaking my patterns. And I said, okay, because poets, open mic and slam have a different cadence than rappers do.
Right.
You know, it's a whole different flow. I said, okay, so I was forced to move out of a comfort zone and write a little differently. So now I'm this homogenized, gumbo-ish collab personality when I get on stage or when I write, because the pieces are not necessarily formulaic anymore. So, and I'm like, okay, I kind of like this. I can go this way, I can go that way, and we're still in the pocket.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So what would you say was your best place to perform your poetry? Like it was just, like everything was just popping. The lighting was right. The mood was set. It is like, I love this place.
Okay, so that just happened recently because everything's an experience. So let me give a shout out to my man, Lorenzo Words. He and D, they do an event called SWAM, Spoken Word, Art and Music. And they just landed in the Leimert Park area at the Barbara Morrison Theater. So it's cozy, it's quaint, it's fire. The band's on stage, the lighting's right. So I'm gonna have to say SWAM. Yeah, SWAM. SWAM is it's professional enough and it's home enough. And then right up there, I do another place called the World Stage. But World Stage is like home.
Right.
You know, Big Mama and them. You kicking it with your cousins and stuff.
Right,
and how this one sound, and we chopping it up. And you know, they have a no BS policy. If your stuff sound like Humpty Dumpty and Mother Goose, then don't get up here.
Wow.
Don't get up here. If you gonna bring it, act like the house is on fire and bring the fire.
Right.
So it's that kind of spirit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
so
good.
that's cool.
That's kind of like, cause I do myself. I'm a stand-up comedian, so I
Okay,
also
okay,
do stand-up
okay,
also.
okay.
And I have a friend of mine. I call him my big brother in comedy. His name is Kevin Davis, the Marine of Comedy. You know, because he was in the Marine. He's a drill master sergeant.
Okay.
He retired as a drill master sergeant. So he and I put on shows together. And when we when we're booking a comedian, we always talk to them and say, hey, how many minutes can you do?
Right.
And they're like, oh, I can do about 6 or 7. So we say 6, 7. So we're gonna put it back to about 4 or 5.
Okay.
Right? And no. Matter of fact, did I say 6, 7? Give me 10 minutes.
Okay.
Now, we gave you a chance to take this 5 and 6. You said you can do 10. I'm gonna light you at 8 minutes.
Okay.
This one person get on stage, man. He dying in 3 minutes.
Oh.
Now he's looking for the light. And I'm looking at Kevin. And I'm like, Kevin, get this guy the light, man. He's struggling. Kevin was like, nah. He said he can do 10. He doing 10 minutes.
He doing 10. Yeah.
Just like what you said.
Yeah.
If your stuff ain't fire,
Yeah.
it's like, hey, it's not fire, but hey, I can give you a good 5 minutes.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
that's cool. That's a good 5 minutes. I can go do something, come back, especially if I'm hosting the show.
Yes.
If you can guarantee me a good 5 minutes, I can go get something to drink, I can go get something to eat, then I can come back and I can be waiting on the side. And when you've done that 5 minutes, I can jump on in there.
Yeah.
But if you're telling me you do 10 and you dying at 3,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Make some adjustments. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you need to make that's it. That's true.
Yeah.
But so I look at, as I'm saying, is both of you, I look at the way you do your poetry is the way I do, or most people do their comedy.
Yeah.
You know, you guys have you guys have your big open mics.
Right.
And like the biggest stage I've ever done was the Comedy Store,
Okay.
right? And I did some shows in New York and everything like that, but the Comedy Store was like one of the best because I was like, okay, yeah, I do the Comedy Store. And then something happened. It was like, hey, we're going to have to move it from the belly room to the main stage. And normally you don't get to the main stage. I think I was maybe 3 years in the game at that time.
Okay. Okay.
And you don't normally get to the main stage until you have until you a Chris Rock or
Right.
the Eddie Murphys, the Richard Pryors, and you can see all those pictures in there. So they was like, dude, you're in the main room now, so you got to bring it.
Yeah.
Bring that fire.
Gotta bring it.
That's it.
Wow, that's funny because it's about development and
Yes.
growth and getting that confidence and working on your craft. Another good friend of mine, she's a poet. She goes by the name of My Joy.
Right.
And I met My Joy. I was at I think it was a hookah lounge waiting for some other poets to go up, and I was just sitting up chilling. And she likes to videotape, but our journey has been watching each other grow
Right.
in our craft. I think when she met me, I was about as sad and broken, lonely guy, sniffling and crying, but just trying to keep it together. And then you meet another poet who can identify with that energy, and then you watch each other grow. You watch each other, how you go from the 3 minute to the 5 minute
Yeah.
to the 10 minute.
Yeah.
And it's good when you have folk in on your journey with you, watching you grow.
Right.
Yeah, man. It's powerful.
Yes.
Yeah,
It's powerful to see your own growth.
Yes.
To see, and like I tell everybody, I'm like, nah, I'm not in competition with that man. I'm not in competition with that woman doing comedy. I'm in competition with myself.
Yeah.
I'm trying to make myself better.
There we go.
Each time I go out on stage, I want to do something different.
Yeah.
Do something different.
Yeah.
So you were saying your book was on
So I'm on Amazon.
on Amazon.
So you can go on Amazon and just look up Love Is So Cool. It's not going to say Clint D. Johnson, but it's going to say Saint Ice. Love Is So Cool. And we have the Kindle, and we got some other stuff in the mix right now. And when it's time to let it go, I'll let you know.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
you make sure.
Yeah.
Well, you let me know that, man, because like I say, let's talk about it. I'm always open for, anybody. If you want to come on the show, let's talk about it. I just don't promote no hate. I
Yeah.
don't want nobody coming on here hating on person and sending man. There's enough of that hate going around. This is a peace and love show.
Yes.
You come in here, whatever's on your mind, let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it.
Kids, women, husband, like you got your book, you want to get out. Hey, come on, let's talk about it. There's no other way to just get out here and just talk about it.
Yeah.
So right now, if you were interviewing yourself when you first started your poetry, what would you tell your young self when you first started?
Ooh,
With the knowledge now.
I would say love yourself enough to do it.
Right.
Again, listen to my grandpa always say, eat the meat and spit out the bones.
Right.
Get around folk who are going to feed your spirit and block out those who've only come to tear you down, and trust your gift. Man, creative people, trust your gift. You know what I'm saying? You got tools, work your tools. Do what you got to do with what you have there. There's a verse that says that your gift will make room for you.
Right.
Take you before great men and kings. I believe that's how that scripture rolls. Take that thing that God gave you that you didn't ask for. Take that advantage that you came here with and work it.
Right.
And work it.
Right.
You don't come with the whole blueprint. You have a sense of the roadmap, maybe, but get in and go.
Right.
One foot in front of the other, because every step you take is going to take you further.
Right.
But now if you bury it, if you're too shy, or you too doubtful, you have no confidence, then get help.
Right.
Then get help. Then come out of the health strong and grab your tools and go build something.
That's right.
Yeah. I would tell young Clint, boy, that's funny. Young Clint, young Ice, I would tell young Clint, man, get it. Don't be afraid and make up your mind early. I tell all young folks, make up your mind early. Get it now.
Right.
Y'all already think 30 is old. Stop playing. It's not.
No,
You babies.
It's not. No, it's not.
I'm almost 30. What? You don't know how good that is.
Right.
But make your mind up and go get after it.
Right.
That's what you tell them.
Right.
That's what I tell young Clint. Man, make up your mind and go get this.
Right.
Yeah.
So if say you're out and you doing your poetry and a young poet come up to you and be like, it's hard for me to get started, to really discipline myself to sit down and start writing my poetry, because sometimes you have to have that moment and you have to discipline yourself to write your poetry. So how would you direct a young man to saying, man, you just dedicate so much time for one day and do that?
It's discipline's a challenge.
Right.
Because that's the key. I would tell him or her, ask yourself, how bad do you want it? Is this just a hobby? Are you just kicking it? Or is this something you really see yourself doing? Do you have something to offer the world? And if you do, now act like it, because it's important that you do this. It's important that you carve out time. If it's 5 minutes a day, do you write in the morning? Are you better on your lunch break? Are you a midnight writer? Identify your time when you're strong, when your creative flows, and take advantage of that time. If you know that, man, I wake up in the morning with ideas, then that's when you write. That's when you get it.
Right.
That's when you get it. Because if you're finna go to work, you can't write while you're at work.
Right.
So that's not gonna work for you. Or, man, I'm off work and I'm finna go do something. Okay, cool. Instead of you going and just hang out with the fellas, nothing wrong with the fellas, nothing wrong with your girl, you need that time. But identify when you are at your creative height and push and push.
Right.
And then it'll become your habit. It'll become your rhythm. Right. And then that'll become your process. And then your success will come from your process. Right. Yeah.
A strong piece, man. I like that.
Yeah.
That's what the classes that me and my boy took, that's what he would say. He was like, whatever you do, if you're gonna write for 10 minutes, then write jokes for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Put a sign up on the door. Don't bother me for 10 minutes because I'm writing.
Yeah.
And if you're somewhere and you get an idea, you say something, record it. So when you record it, then you got time to record. Oh, what was I meaning by that? Then you start writing. And then you said, then that's when it'll start coming quick. Because when you first start off, it's kind of hard to get exactly down what you want to say. Like, I know what I want to say, but I can't put it on paper.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And then that's when you go into your groups with your different peoples. Now, that's all I was going to say. Do you collaborate with different poets as you're writing? Like, you know, like do y'all get like together?
Okay.
Y'all like start writing together? How do y'all do that?
What was interesting, when we were doing the stuff during the pandemic, we would have writers prompts.
Right.
So Ms. Parker might say, well, we're going to talk about fire and air. So you got 30 poets on this Zoom call. Everybody has to go write about fire and air. So you're going to come back with 30 different takes on the same concept. When I was a rapper, it's so funny. Back in the day with Rappers Rap Group, it was 6 of us. So we would have a song and we would have a theme. So we're all writing our perspective. Hey man, you got 16 bars to talk about girls, because that's probably all we were talking about at 18 and 19 years old.
Right.
There was really nothing else to talk about. Carlton the Messenger, he and I working on a piece talking about our differences. We've been friends since high school, but we're 2 very different men. It's his idea. Clint, you dress a certain way, we flow a certain way, so let's make a piece about how different we are. And it's powerful because you got 2 guys moving in the same vein with a different way of doing it.
Right.
So, yeah. So there are those times you get with people and, oh man, here's our brain trust. This is what we're going to do.
Right.
And then inspiration takes off like a rocket.
Wow.
You know, you'll say a word, oh man, that was fire, but what about this? Oh, that's dope. You know, and that's just how the creative process goes.
Yeah, that's when the juices get to flowing and everybody come together.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just, it's awesome.
Yeah.
That's cool.
There's another young lady, she goes by the name of Lyrica Wright. Met her roughly a year ago online, have yet to meet in person. Co-poetess, you know, just her whole cadence and demeanor, and she's an artist as well, like a lot of poets are. So she went to the point where she impacted my writing because she brought a different vibe in. And as creatives, you become a sponge. I think it's involuntary. My man CEO from Idle King says creativity begots creativity.
Right.
Man, don't be sharing your stuff with nobody. I said, okay, because it's gonna happen.
Right.
There's no way in the world you're gonna throw it out there and it doesn't impact somebody. Sometimes it's not even plagiarism, they're just inspired.
Right. That's true. So have you ever, you know, and this is somebody asked everybody, have you ever known for somebody to steal your poetry?
More artwork, not poetry, but my art.
Your art.
So I looked up and I saw my stuff printed on somebody's T-shirt. I was like, what just happened, right?
Right.
But it's out there. No one stole any poetry yet. And if they do, I'm gonna have to call it a compliment. Just don't be trying to get paid. Just go do it for the fun of it, and I'm okay. I grant you that license.
You give them that okay. I help you try to get $5 off.
Man, you know, but it's a compliment. You know, it's like, okay, just it's awkward when you see or hear your stuff like, wait, whoa, you know, because I had an associate that's happened to, where he wrote a piece, it was fire, and he heard a well-known artist utilizing his stuff. And that's a whole nother story. I haven't experienced that, but I can only imagine.
Right.
You know? Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Okay. So what I would like for you to do now is, you know, in the camera, just give, you know, your name, your platforms, how people can get in touch with you, how people can get your book.
Okay.
And you just let them know that, you know, you're open to, you know, whatever, you know, poetry. I don't want to say poetry mic is out there that where people want to invite you out, you know, just give them your information and let them know how to get in touch with you.
Okay. So the birth name is Clint D. Johnson, and you can actually go to clintdjohnson.com. There is pretty much my graphic design platform, but also you'll find links to dropsofice.com, and that's where we house everything that's related to poetry, to St. Ice the Poet. The book, Love is So Cool, is on Amazon, so go to Amazon, look up Love is So Cool, and St. Ice is the author. You can also find me on Instagram at the St. Ice, and I'm fooling around with TikTok like everybody else. So on TikTok, I'm St. Ice the Poet. And that's pretty much the best way to reach me. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So if somebody wanted you to come out and share your poetry with somebody, they can just get with you on those platforms.
So I think the platform that I'm going to check most would be my Instagram platform. I'm also on Facebook, but that's Clint D. Johnson, and that's just kind of like, hey, I'm just Clint doing Clint's thing.
Right.
The other ones are designated. So if you want to get in touch with me, by all means, go to the Saint Ice on Instagram, and I'll definitely respond to you. Love to come out, share what I do. Love to, treat it like it's an igloo and just let Saint Ice come and chip with you. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Have you ever thought about doing a poetry workshop?
Actually, I'm in talks with some folks. I do a lot with at-risk kids. That was a profession I had not long ago. But my writing and my art, I always seem to gear right back towards the youth community. So I'm actually in talks with some people. Torrance Brennan with Family Incorporated, that's the name of his group. We're talking about it, where I can come in and sit down and work with young folk with bringing their poetry and other creative aspirations to a different level. Yeah.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you heard him. He said he'll come out and he'll help you out. And make sure you pick up his book. It's on Amazon. And I want to thank you, sir, because I know you're a busy man and you took your time out to come on. Let's talk about it. I greatly appreciate it. And I would like to tell you, whenever you have anything new coming out or whenever you're going to be somewhere, make sure you hit me up and I'll let somebody know, hey, you saw this gentleman on Let's Talk About It. Go out there and support him. Go out there and support him, man. Because everybody needs the support.
Yes, they
and
do.
Again, thank you so much.
Oh, man.
Truly,
Thank you.
I appreciate you.
I appreciate you too. Thank you so much. Thank you.
I want to thank you for tuning in to Let's Talk About It. Remember, don't ever share your 8x10 dream with somebody with a 5x7 mom. My name is Raheem Mitchell. I'll see you next week. God bless you. Peace.
Let's talk about it, talk about it. Let's talk about it, talk about it. Talk about it. Let's talk about it, talk about it. Talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. That girl from LA and that